Alright, somebody is sleeping in the living room, but it's time to cook. So, I have to be quiet. But, let's make a quiche.
Here's the original recipe that I used, but I did tweak several things, as you'll see. Here are the ingredients I actually used. Under the eggs are the pie crusts, and I added tomatoes. I used spinach instead of bacon, half and half instead of whipping cream, and instead of Swiss cheese I used cheddar and mozzarella. The first thing I did was chop up about half the onion in as finely as possible, and then defrost the spinach in the microwave, and you're going to have to drain out all the possible water that you can, otherwise it'll make it kind of soggy and you don't want that.
To put the half and half in here, and I just want to drink it. This is one of my triggers that I would never be able to have around, but I have to use all of that, so there's no, I can't do it.
There were 2 pie crusts, so at the last minute I decided to make 2. I ended up putting in 6 eggs instead of 4. Because it called for 2 cups of half and half, I just got a pint, so I didn't have any more to add, and I figured that would be plenty. When I said the spinach needed to be dry, I meant dry. I dried it and squeezed it in a paper towel to make sure that I got all the excess water out I possibly could. It's pretty dry here, so I think it's good. I wish that I had gotten 2 at the store, so I could have had lots of spinach in each quiche, and I'm going to have to split the spinach between the 2 quiches, but it should be fine. In both pie crusts I added the onions and spinach, and you want to make sure that you break up the spinach as much as you can so that you don't end up with a mouthful of spinach, which that can be good, but not everybody likes that. Whatever kind of cheese you decide to use, just sprinkle it on top of the onions and spinach, or whatever kind of vegetables you choose to use. I didn't really measure this, I just kind of put in a handful of each kind of cheese. Okay, next I added in the half and half to the eggs, and there seems like there's a lot of half and half in here, but it called for 2 cups of half and half and 4 eggs, and this is 2 cups of half and half with 6 eggs, so I think it should be fine. I also added in garlic salt, a teaspoon of garlic salt, and then I also added in about 1/4 of a teaspoon of sugar, and then just make sure that you mix it up really well. Mix, mix, mix. Next, pour in the egg mixture evenly into both pans. I would also suggest, before pouring in the egg mixture, that you put it on a pan with some aluminum foil so that it doesn't spill all over into the oven. Then bake at 425 degrees for 15 minutes. Make sure that you had your oven preheated before this. While it is doing its initial bake, you can wash and prepare the tomatoes to put on top. After I wash the tomatoes, I cut them all in half. You can cut them smaller if you want, but I kind of like them bigger. I'm also going to scrape out the seeds, but that is purely personal choice.
You always have to eat the smallest one.
Now just place the tomatoes on top of the quiche. Ta-da! Then you'll want to lower the oven temperature down to 300 degrees and bake for 30 minutes, or until you stick a knife in and it comes out clean. This is the finished product and it's time to test it. Well, it looks dirty, but that is from the cheese. We'll try it again in another spot just to make sure. Yep, looks clean to me. Another test that you can do just to make sure, in case if you're not convinced, or you just don't want to stick a knife in your pretty quiche, you can do the jiggle test. You just kind of lift it up and see if it jiggles, and if it does, then it's not done. If it's pretty firm, then it should be finished.
I think it's ready. Alright, final taste review on the quiche. It was actually really good. It came out perfectly cooked, and it was a little oniony, but I actually really liked it. Not everybody else did, but you know, you just pick out some of the onions and they all really enjoyed it. So yeah, it was a hit and it was really good, and there's a little bit left over, so hopefully maybe can have some for lunch tomorrow. Thumbs up on that one. Yay! Although I'm not sure how healthy it is or not, but I had plenty of calories today, so I'm good.